Media double standards when comment sections become a bigger story than the actual post. That's exactly what happened here. People weren't even talking about the photos anymore. They weren't debating the royals, they weren't discussing birthdays, family moments, or any of that. Nope, they were staring directly at the comment settings. And once people noticed the difference, the internet did what the internet always does. It grabbed a magnifying glass and turned into a full-time detective agency. Suddenly, everybody became Inspector Sherlock Holmes. Wait a minute, why are comments turned off here? Why are they turned on over there? What's going on? The questions started flying faster than free samples at a grocery store. And here's the thing. Regular people can accept almost any rule. What drives them crazy is when the rules seem to change depending on who's involved. That's where the frustration comes from. Imagine your boss tells the office, nobody gets extra vacation days. Cool, everybody understands. Then the next week, Steve gets 3 extra weeks in Hawaii. Now, nobody's listening to the policy anymore. They're looking at Steve. That's human nature. People don't just notice the rules, they notice who benefits from them. And that's exactly why this exploded online. The conversation wasn't really about comment sections, it was about consistency. Because once people start seeing different treatment, they immediately start asking questions. A lot of questions. Then they start connecting dots. Then they start pulling out screenshots. Then they start posting side-by-side comparisons like they're preparing evidence for a courtroom drama. And good luck stopping that train once it leaves the station. What made the whole thing even messier was that people started noticing other little details too. Different wording, different titles, different presentation. Whether intentional or not, every tiny difference became another piece of internet detective homework. And before long, the story had completely changed. The royal post wasn't the headline anymore. The media outlet became the headline. That's when you know things have gone sideways, because trust is funny. It takes years to build, 5 minutes to damage, and social media users have the memory of elephants when they think they've caught somebody being inconsistent. The funniest part? Most people weren't asking for special treatment, they were asking for equal treatment. That's it. Same rules, same standards, same energy. Apply it everywhere and people move on with their lives. Now, here's where the internet hit the brakes and said, hold up, something isn't adding up. The original post wasn't controversial, it wasn't political, it wasn't some explosive royal scandal. It was literally a dad being a dad. A photo of Harry with his children. That's it. A father enjoying fatherhood. The kind of picture most people would scroll past and think, "Ah, that's nice." End of story. Except it didn't end there, because social media users started noticing something that completely changed the conversation. One post had the comments locked down tighter than a jar your grandmother closed in 1987. The other, wide open. Anybody could jump in. And that's when people started asking questions. Not little questions, big questions. The kind of questions that spread across social media faster than gossip in a family group chat. People were looking around like, wait a second, if one family photo needs protection, shouldn't all family photos get the same protection? Seems pretty straightforward, right? Kids are kids. Doesn't matter whose surname they have, doesn't matter which side of a royal disagreement people support. Children shouldn't become target practice for angry adults sitting behind keyboards. Most ordinary people understand that instinctively. You don't need a university degree to figure that one out. What really got people talking wasn't even the photo itself. It was the feeling that different rules were being applied depending on who appeared in the picture. And once people get that feeling, good luck convincing them otherwise, because social media turns into CSI comment section. Suddenly, everyone becomes a detective. They're comparing screenshots, they're checking timestamps, they're zooming in on every tiny detail like they're investigating a missing diamond necklace. And honestly, the internet never misses an opportunity to play detective. The funny thing is that many people weren't asking for special treatment for Harry, they were asking for equal treatment. That's it. The internet took one look at this situation and collectively said, nah, something's off here. Because let's be honest, this wasn't some major political debate. Nobody was arguing over government policy. Nobody was discussing the economy. It was a Father's Day-style family moment. A photo of Harry with his children. That's it. A dad spending time with the people he loves most. And maybe that's why so many people connected with the photo. But then social media spotted something, and social media never misses a chance to spot something. One post had the comments locked down tighter than a secret government file. The other, open for business, welcome in, grab a seat, say whatever you want. And that's when people started scratching their heads, because regular folks can handle rules. What they struggle with is when the rules seem to change depending on who's standing in the photo. That's when alarm bells start ringing. People started asking, hold on a minute, if comments are being restricted to protect children from negativity, shouldn't that apply to every child? Seems like a pretty simple question. No advanced mathematics required, no royal expert needed, just common sense. Kids are kids, whether they're future kings, princes, princesses, or children living quietly in California. Most parents don't see different categories of children, they see children, period. That's why the reaction online was so fierce. The discussion wasn't really about Harry anymore. It wasn't about royal titles. It wasn't about palace drama. It became a conversation about fairness. And fairness is one of those things people take personally. The second people think somebody's getting different treatment, the internet turns into a neighborhood watch group with unlimited Wi-Fi. Suddenly, screenshots are everywhere. People are comparing captions, checking wording, analyzing social media posts like they're reviewing security footage from a bank robbery. It's honestly impressive. The FBI should recruit some of these comment section detectives. But underneath all the jokes was a point many people felt strongly about. If online spaces need protection because discussions can become toxic, then that protection shouldn't depend on whose last name appears under the photo. It should apply equally. Simple, consistent, no exceptions. Let's be real for a second. This shouldn't even be controversial. We're talking about kids, actual children, not politicians, not celebrities giving interviews, not social media influencers chasing attention, kids. That's why so many people looked at this whole situation and immediately thought, why is this even a debate? The photo itself was simple, a father with his children. That's it. No drama, no scandal, no royal crisis. Just Harry enjoying a moment with Archie and Lilibet. Honestly, it looked like the kind of picture millions of parents have sitting on their phones right now, a happy family memory. But somehow the internet managed to turn a wholesome dad moment into another episode of Royal Family, the never-ending series. And that's where people started getting frustrated. Because once viewers noticed different treatment between posts, the conversation changed instantly.
At some point, the photo itself stopped being the story. Think about that for a second. A picture of Harry spending time with his children should have been one of the easiest stories on earth to cover. A dad, his kids, a family moment. End of discussion. But the internet looked at the situation and said, wait a minute, something doesn't add up. Suddenly, people weren't talking about the photo anymore. They were talking about the rules. Because once viewers noticed that one royal post had its comments restricted, while another remained completely open, the conversation changed instantly. And honestly, you could almost hear the collective record scratch across social media. People started asking a very simple question. If comments need to be limited to shield children from negativity, shouldn't every child receive that same protection? Not some children, not selected children, all children. It's not a difficult concept. It's not advanced physics. It's basic fairness. Kids don't wake up in the morning and volunteer to become part of internet debates. They don't ask to trend on social media. They don't request headlines. They don't sit around saying, you know what would be fun today? Becoming the subject of thousands of strangers arguing online. They're children. That's it. And most parents understand that instinctively. The second children become involved, the entire conversation should change. The volume should come down. The hostility should disappear. The adults should act like adults. Simple. At least that's how it's supposed to work. But what made so many viewers uncomfortable wasn't necessarily the moderation itself. It was the appearance of different standards. Because people can tolerate rules. What they struggle to tolerate is inconsistency. Imagine walking into a restaurant and being told everyone has to wait 30 minutes for a table. Fair enough. Then 5 minutes later, another group walks in and gets seated immediately. Now everybody's looking around. Nobody's talking about the restaurant anymore, they're talking about the different treatment. That's human nature. People notice these things. And social media? Social media notices everything. Seriously, Misspell one word and somebody will write a 12-part thread explaining why civilization is collapsing. Use the wrong emoji and suddenly there are 3 podcasts discussing it. So when people think they spot a double standard, forget it. The detectives are activated. The screenshots arrive. The side-by-side comparisons start circulating. The internet starts putting together evidence boards that look like something from a crime documentary. Next thing you know, people are zooming into captions, checking wording, analyzing timestamps, and comparing posts like they're preparing a presentation for the United Nations. It's both hilarious and completely predictable. But beneath all the jokes, memes, and online detective work was a serious point. Children should never become collateral damage in adult disagreements. They shouldn't become talking points. They shouldn't become ammunition. And they definitely shouldn't be left exposed to negativity simply because adults can't agree with one another. That's what many people felt was getting lost in the conversation. Harry's post wasn't about controversy. It wasn't about palace politics. It wasn't about endless royal narratives. It was about fatherhood. A father spending time with the people he loves, something millions of ordinary families experience every single day. That's why so many viewers connected with it. Because underneath the royal titles, underneath the media noise, underneath the endless back and forth, they saw something normal. A parent being proud of their children, a family creating memories, a moment of happiness. And honestly, that should have been enough. Alright folks, that's where I'm going to leave it. If you enjoyed today's video, do me a favor and hit that like button like it just leaked a royal memo, subscribe for more royal tea, and join the conversation below. I'm your host, Miles. Thank you for spending part of your day with me. Stay safe, stay kind, and try not to get recruited into the Internet Detective Squad before our next video. I'll see you in the next one. Take care, and goodbye.